Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wonder why people are so different from each other? Today we're diving into a fascinating paper that explores just that, and how a super smart new technology called AI might help us understand these differences even better. This paper is all about those unique qualities that make each of us who we are, and how something like ChatGPT, that amazing AI chatbot, could be a game changer for studying them. So the big idea here is that artificial intelligence, or AI, and machine learning, which is like a brain for computers, are becoming super useful tools. Think psychology, understanding emotions, how we think, all these areas can get a boost from AI, but like any new tool, it is not perfect, and the researchers are going to talk about the good and the not so good. We all know people are different. The researchers even checked, and it turns out there are millions of articles talking about individual differences. What does that even mean? Simply put, it is all the ways we stand apart from each other. This can be in how we act, how we think, our backgrounds, or even how we feel. These differences are shaped by our genes, our surroundings, and all the stuff that happens to us in life. Personality is a big part of it. It is like our consistent way of thinking, feeling, and behaving. But individual differences is a much broader term. It can be tricky to nail down even for experts. This paper aims to do two cool things. First, it breaks down the different kinds of ways people differ. Second, it explores how new tech, like AI and machine learning, can help us study these differences in new and exciting ways. Let's start with how we behave differently. This includes things like our personalities, what motivates us, and our attitudes. For a long time, scientists have looked at these stable personality traits, like being outgoing or cautious. They call these dispositions. You might have heard of the big 5 personality traits: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. These are pretty much the cornerstone of how we describe personality. Then there are demographic differences. This is about things like your age, gender, where you come from, and your economic situation. These demographic factors can actually influence behavior and personality. For instance, studies have found that men and women often differ in certain traits. And even as we get older, our personalities can shift a bit, with older adults sometimes scoring higher on traits like agreeableness. Now, let's talk about how we think differently. This is about our cognitive differences, things like how smart we are, how good our memory is, and how well we can focus. Interestingly, abilities like intelligence seem to be strongly influenced by our genes. It is like our DNA gives us a certain blueprint for how our brains work. And of course, we all experience and handle emotions differently. This is emotional individual differences, how much we react to things emotionally, how well we manage our feelings, and how we show them. So, to put it simply, individual differences cover how we think, act, and feel differently. These can be shaped by our genes, our experiences, and everything in between. Understanding these differences is key to understanding people. Now for the exciting part, technology. AI and machine learning are these cutting-edge fields that can really help us dig deeper into individual differences and personality. They can crunch huge amounts of data, spot patterns we might miss, and even predict what people might do. So, what exactly is machine learning? Think of it as teaching a computer to learn from experience without us having to tell it every single step. We give it lots of examples and it figures out the rules itself. And artificial intelligence, AI, is the bigger picture. Machine learning is just one part of it. AI is all about creating smart systems that can do things we usually think of as requiring human intelligence, like understanding language or making decisions. How can these tools help us understand people better? Well, one huge advantage is their ability to tackle massive amounts of data. We live in an age of big data, and AI can find connections in that data that would be impossible for humans to spot on their own. Imagine looking at what people write on social media. AI can analyze that language to figure out personality traits, like those big 5 we talked about, or even things like narcissism. It is like finding personality clues in digital footprints. Researchers are also using AI to look at all sorts of data, from how our bodies react, to what we say, to our backgrounds, and then making predictions about how people might behave. For example, one study looked at tweets from leaders and followers to predict who might be drawn to leaders with narcissistic traits. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, researchers used AI to connect how outgoing someone is, their extroversion score, to how anxious they felt over time. Other studies used AI to figure out who was doing well emotionally during the pandemic lockdowns, and what factors influence people's decisions to follow health guidelines. AI is also shaking things up in psychometrics, which is the science of measuring psychological characteristics. AI can help create brand new ways to measure personality, intelligence, and thinking skills by sifting through tons of information. A cool example is using AI to detect if someone is trying to fake good on a personality test, meaning they're not answering honestly. AI can even help us figure out if programs designed to help people with their personalities or emotional skills are actually working. Think about programs that can recognize emotions just from someone's voice. This kind of effective computing can help people understand their own emotions better. This means AI could help create personalized programs to help people manage their emotions or improve their behavior. Exactly what they need. So, we've seen how AI and machine learning can really boost how we measure, understand, and interpret individual differences. And now, even more powerful tools like ChatGPT are on the scene, and they could totally change how we study individual differences. In fact, this very paper is an example of that. The researchers used ChatGPT to help write the initial draft. They gave it prompts and it generated text, which they then edited and fact-checked. They want to be clear though, this wasn't just copy-pasting. They heavily edited and verified everything. A key point is that AI like ChatGPT doesn't automatically give you correct academic references. The researchers had to find and add all those themselves, relying on human judgment. These AI language models have the power to truly transform how we research personality and individual differences. Imagine using AI to generate thousands of answers to a survey question, or even simulate conversations. This could help us study differences in personality, emotions, and how people talk to each other. Comparing these AI-generated responses to real human ones could make our research findings more reliable and generalizable. Another big plus is AI's skill in processing language. It can automatically sort through huge amounts of text, like social media posts, to understand people's feelings or identify different communication styles. AI can even help us come up with new research questions and ideas. It can simulate conversations between people with different personalities or put them in hypothetical situations to see how they might react. And there is virtual reality too. AI can create virtual worlds where we can see how people with different personalities react to stressful situations or social scenarios. But as with any powerful tool, there are limitations. Because these AI models learn from patterns in data, their predictions can be biased by that data and might not work in all situations. It is like if you only ever learned about cats and then tried to describe a dog, you'd be missing some key information. And most importantly, AI can tell us what might be happening, but it doesn't fully explain why understanding the deep down reasons behind our differences is still something humans do best. So, to wrap it all up, AI and machine learning are incredibly promising tools for understanding who we are as individuals. They can handle massive data, find hidden patterns, and help us predict behavior. From helping us understand emotions better to developing personalized learning programs, AI is opening up new frontiers. But we're still in the early days. More research is needed to unlock the full potential of these technologies. Researchers need to be smart about these limitations, making sure they don't over-rely on AI and always critique the results. The key is to use AI as a powerful assistant to traditional research methods, not as a replacement. It's about combining the best of both worlds, human insight and machine power. What I really love about this paper is how it highlights that as technology like AI and ChatGPT gets more advanced, it doesn't make us the researchers or the human element obsolete. Instead, it gives us entirely new ways to ask questions and test ideas about what makes each of us unique. It emphasizes our role in critically evaluating the AI's output, adding the necessary context, and ensuring the research is truly meaningful. The future of understanding ourselves probably lies in a smart collaboration between human curiosity and artificial intelligence. What do you guys think? How do you see AI influencing our understanding of ourselves in the future? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this dive into the mind, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration. Thanks for watching.